5. Is everybody ready?
We're ready.
We want to call the commission court to order. We want to welcome all of our guests and officials. Mr. Hill, if you'll lead us in a prayer after we pledge allegiance, I'll call the roll right quick. Laura Cobb.
Here.
Emmett Owen.
Here.
Terry Hendricks. Here. Roger Hill.
Here.
We have a full quorum. Paul, stand. We're going to pledge allegiance to the flag, and Mr. Hill will lead us in a prayer. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for another beautiful day you've given us, Lord, and we thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace. And our prayer today is that you would look in on the sick and aged found by us, Lord. You know the need, and we pray through faith that you'll just touch each one, Lord, and fill each need if it be your will. And we go into the meeting tonight, Lord. We pray decisions made here will be pleasing to you. In Christ's name I ask. Amen.
I have Miss Barbara Palmer here. I think she lives in District 4. She does live in District 4. She lives at 235 County Road 880. And she's asked to be placed on the agenda to speak to you.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. I think Emmett had a second. Okay. All in favor of adding her, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ms. Palmer, I'm going to ask you to keep your time to about 3 minutes, please.
Thank you.
You know all the commissioners. I know you know Mr. Hill, your commissioner.
Yes. Thank you very much, Judge and Commissioners. So why I'm here today is because on February the 10th, the county came out and ran the road scraper through the ditches and across my driveway at the lower part of my property and damaged my culvert. And now I have a big hole in my culvert and a ditch to get into my property. And I have pictures that I would like to pass out or explain. My driveway is on this side, and then it runs down into the ditch. And these are pictures of the culvert. My property is where the gate is. I appreciate, I did call Mr. Roger Hill, and he did come out on a Saturday and look at the situation, and I do appreciate that, sir.
What road do you live on?
I live on County Road 880, and there's 4 residents that live on that road, and mine is the last property. And the rest is farmland, not farmland, but timber company, and the ditches have not been cleaned out in a long time. I don't know if they ever have, but still, I don't want a ditch going to my property. I would just like resolution on having the culvert fixed, maybe the ditches dug out.
Is this driveway,
Go ahead.
is this driveway going to a pasture or to a house?
It's going into the bottom part of my property. There's no house there.
Okay.
We should leave it here, but that,
Go ahead.
and that pipe is a plastic pipe. We don't approve plastic pipes for that, so somebody has put that in there, and the county didn't do it.
That particular pipe is not ours. I mean, it's not county. And the big one down in the ditch is the county. But they did destroy the pipe when they cleaned the ditch, the small pipe.
I see.
And the culvert's been there, I've lived there for 24 years, so the culvert's been there for,
We have, in my district, we have a lot of issues with people that just want to throw a plastic pipe in the ditch and cover it up and call it a road. And we have a lot of issues with that because the pipe's usually not the right size. And like I said, we don't approve of plastic pipe either. I don't know if that's something, like I said, I wish Lee was here, that if you'd be willing to buy a pipe, we do install them. But you would have to buy the pipe, they would have to be a metal pipe.
so,
What's that, you know what size pipe it is?
no, sir, I don't.
You would buy the actual, pay for the pipe, the county would
Installed.
select the pipe that
Yeah,
would work.
the right
They would
size
actually-
pipe.
Yeah, the engineer would come out and look at it, he'll tell you what size you need.
Is there 2 pipes in there?
I think there is.
Thank Brian, when
I
was
think
it that we passed that?
Was that a
I
6
think
inch?
that's a
Probably
different
about 4
place.
years ago, that we
Yes.
passed that,
Yes.
where now if anyone moves into the county and puts, they have to go through the engineer. That way we make sure the appropriate pipe is put in.
Do we know the cost now for the pipe?
250, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it was 250 an hour. I'm
It's,
not-
it's all according to what size it is.
What size it is, but most of them is like 250.
But the engineer can come out and take a look and tell you exactly what you need as far as the pipe goes.
Well, Lee and I talked about this, evidently, he was trying to make up his mind what would be the best course of action. So, evidently, he hasn't done anything.
And he's gone away to conference for that.
I'll get with him as soon as possible and see what he thinks.
So, well, one issue that I have is I've called for the last 10 weeks and I can't get, Lee called me one time and said he would go out there and look at it and then return my call, and he has not called me back in 10 weeks. And that's not proper business for one, but either say you're gonna fix it or you're not gonna fix it, or give me a solution on what needs to be done, because ignoring me is not very helpful or professional.
I will correspond with Lee, we'll do something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer.
Thank you.
I don't think I have your phone number.
Okay.
Can you give him your phone number?
You write them on that, I'll get to you, Mr. Bill.
Work orders that get called in, aren't we supposed to be getting a sheet of work orders when they're being called in?
Each month.
Occasionally, you get one.
He did give it to us a couple of months and he
Yes,
put it in.
If you thought on work order should be, like, whether it's complete or not.
All right, we'll move on to officials and board members. Sheriff?
I don't have a whole lot. I guess one thing is I just checking the status on the job descriptions that we talked about at the past work session. I just wonder if y'all come up with a solution or.
We just, I think Emily had put some stuff together, she just handed it to us, so
Okay.
I guess that'll give us time to go back and look over it and then maybe get with her and see exactly what she's talking about.
Okay. And another issue, I was just talking around about it a while ago, this kind of come up Friday. We had enough to pay the feed bill for this past month, but this coming month, maybe another issue. In the past, where our feed bill averaged about $1,500 a month, maybe $2,000 at the most. Now it's averaging about $4,500 to $5,000 a month. Right now, I think, I would say we have about $801 in our food account. I reached out to Chad, Ryan's brother, Friday. And he said he'd do some research. I don't know if they could get cut for certain price about maybe raising the cost per inmate again. Like it just went from $1 something to $2.25 per inmate. I don't know the solution, but probably next month we're going to probably be in the hole on the fee bill.
And Chad mentioned to you about me contacting someone.
Somebody at DOC, and I don't know, I gotta get back with Chad on that. I'm not sure what that's about, if it's negotiating prices or, I don't know. I have to get back with Chad on that. He did mention something about the chairman.
I've never, in 22 years, I haven't been approached by doing that, you know. But I guess, is it like gasoline? Our mileage, is the state raise it according to the federal?
One of the biggest things now is your inmate population's up.
It is.
And then you got to feed those, and then you don't get no reimbursement for, how long does it take you to get your reimbursement back?
I think that's probably, I'm not sure on that, but like St. Clair County, a few months ago, they called, I guess it was their administrator called Lane and asked him about his, I guess if he got the feed bill, and he's like, no, not yet. And he said, you better check it. Where theirs was averaging about 4,000 to 5,000 a month, theirs was 12,000. It like tripled. And then when Lane got ours had about doubled, almost tripled.
Is that something we have a line item in there for, or how do we normally
We have a
budget
line
for that?
item for it, but it's gonna go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about to run up over on his budget.
What is the line item for that per year?
But is that set up on some sort of index, do we know? Or is that just voted on by to raise it or not?
Well, what the money, he's talking about, we get reimbursed for some of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just had went up on it.
Yeah, it went up like 225 or something, I think, per inmate.
But your cost is going up.
Right, yeah,
I mean, your meat products, everything's doubled.
yeah.
And
They know they serve a lot of
nobody's
meat.
is compensating, nobody's compensating for that.
Right. And two, while I'm thinking about it, the contracts for the cities is fixing to come up too. So I may have to sit down with Jason at some point, because for playing like this, their contract too, to help compensate for some of that also. Right.
I have that budget line item, it's budget line item 70403, if you look at your budget, it's, got 15,000 in it for housing and feeding prisoners. Yeah.
But that's normally been enough, it's just
Right.
with inflation and everything,
Right.
it's not enough now.
Yeah, normally, like I said, it's 1,500 at the most, or maybe 2,000 a couple of months, but now it's like 4,000, over 4,000. Well, I think one month it was right at 5,000.
How much is our, well, you don't know yet, have you been following our sales tax here? I know with us changing, how much of our sales tax increased this
I would
year?
have to look at it, I've got numbers, printed out, but I haven't analyzed those yet. I'm trying to put something together for a 6-month report for you guys. I should have at the next work session, in the next couple of weeks.
Did y'all want to talk about, since Emily's here, did y'all want to talk about that now or what?
Who?
I mean,
I just haven't looked at it.
we can talk about it, but we just have got the information and.
You want to look at it?
I mean, John can probably tell me this, like, from my understanding, you want to create one new job and do away with one job. And then you.
I don't guess creating you, I guess revamp the one that's there.
Well, it's on this paperwork, she's got it called, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's,
It was originally a file clerk and then
I think we had it one word.
warrant clerk is what you were calling it.
Yeah.
so I mean, we'll have, and Anthony, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll have to create a new job, and change your order for employees and all that stuff for that. But we haven't had a chance to go over this. But another thing I saw in here, or I was speaking to Amy about it, the chief clerk. I really didn't understand that. I mean, the way I'm looking at this, she she's going to be making less money instead of more money. I mean, if you take her from this pay level 14, pay grade 14 to the pay grade 17, when you start back all over at 8, that's less than what she's making now.
I think we're talking about adding her like equity in there for years.
Is it?
To make the same as she's making now, she would have to be a 17B. We can't, because we take her to a 17A, even with equity, it's gonna be a little bit less than what that position currently is. So the only way to use pay grade 17 and it remaining the same pay per hour is to go to 17B. With the equity, but the equity is gonna be on all of it.
When our, the other chief clerks, there's 3 chief clerks, right? The other 2 are at 17. Mine at the time when Connie did the thing, I guess it was based on her years of experience. And I guess Paula probably now has
All of us.
has 25 or
She
26
got
years.
well over 25. She had 6 months, I think she said April was at the county 6 months longer than her, I believe, at the
Okay.
time.
And April had 28 years when she left.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be something that I don't know why Connery did it that way. I don't understand why he put that chief clerk, but
Okay, your chief clerk was at a 17B before she retired.
what was she, was a 17, just a 17?
She was 17, pay grade 17, step B, and she was also an equity C.
Okay.
And then the other 2 chief clerks are gonna be a 17A.
Because they're new to the job.
So they just failed to document it in the Paula's, which she should have been classified as that anyway.
I do
But
think
it was
so.
failed to be done when the job description was done.
And I don't know why Condrey did it that way, why they put her at a different pay grade. I mean, like, the pay comes out as the same, but I don't know why they put her at 14, not 17.
So what would be the difference if she was similar to April? What's gonna be, would she actually be making less than what she's making now?
If we put her where April was, it's gonna be the same.
It's gonna be the same.
See, I think all 3 of those, job titles, it's on, I think there's one that's in, Joyce's makes just a few pennies less. I don't know exactly what the number is, but I know she makes less, so you got 3 of those job titles, and they all make up, other than the other 2 had more time in, makes just a little less.
Well, I knew Paula was here before I was, so so I just would think she would be close to April.
I think it's like just 25 and a half years or so, 25 and 4 months, 6
Somewhere around there.
months, somewhere around there.
So, but I don't know if that's the possibility of moving her to where she's, but all it's gonna actually do is change her, I guess, where she's at 17, but it's not gonna really change her income much. I don't know,
It
right?
won't change her income at all. It will change her pay grade and what step she's at, but it won't change her income.
Okay.
There's quite a few changes in these job descriptions too. I think we just need to take a look at it and talk about it next month. That'd be my suggestion, because she's highlighted, Emily's highlighted that what's different in the job descriptions, and there's several of them that probably have to bring Jason into for waking up. And,
I'm gonna wait and listen to every word.
but I mean, I think it's something we'll have to have a discussion on.
But let me ask you, Paula's been doing this for a while. It just was never put in her job description, correct? There's nothing that she's started doing new.
Well, yeah, there's some more stuff that's been added.
But she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I'm saying it just, when they were doing the evaluation, it did not get put in the job description, and it should
I
have.
don't, did they even adopt the job description?
I don't think we changed any job descriptions.
That's one thing, I think the job description's from like 1998 or something.
What the county commission was trying to do was get everybody, to move them all along and give them some increase in pay, which was probably the biggest increase in pay the whole, I think probably as long as Ryan's been here, as long as I've been here. And, you know, and
Well, and in fairness, just being honest, you know, chief clerks, you got 3. Not every chief clerk does the same duties. You know, they're different. And so I don't know what all Paul does and compared to my chief clerk, but I know my chief clerk had a lot on her, or still does. And I don't know what the chief clerk in the revenue office has.
at some point, all the people that wants, I mean, at some point, this side of the table can only pay what we got. I mean, there's no wishing well, and just in your department alone, we've probably spent nearly $500,000 so far this year in new employees and everything. So somewhere or another, we gotta start talking to the citizens to come up with more money to pay this, because there's no more money on this side of the table. And, you know, and I know, Commissioner Hendricks has talked about giving across the board raises, or seeing what more we can do for all the employees. You know, and that's one of the things I brought up when he brought it up, was we need to see what this sales tax and what some of the new revenues coming in, because also the increase of running your cars, every month we've got a lot coming in, but I'm just saying, you know, a lot of times stuff like this right here needs to be put in the budget as we come up into our new fiscal year, because it's sort of, unless you can figure out something to cut. And we just had this conversation with a department head the other day, and unless you can find employees you want to cut or something like that, where you can spread some of the money around, you know, within your budget, if you're saying we're going to come up with $3,000 or $4,000 a month times 12 months, I mean, we got, at some point, the county commission has got to look at, we can't continue to keep borrowing from the reserves we have like we did last year to make all this fit. So I'm just, you know, I'm not trying to dampen everybody's party, but at somewhere this side of the table's got to say no. So
I was just trying to make it right when it should have been took care of in the past, when it wasn't my administration, you know. I'm trying to fight for my employees, so I don't lose.
And
almost 26-year employee that basically runs the show.
Yeah.
And his employee was 28.
Yeah. And I think we respect it. I think.
Oh, yeah, they ain't about respect, I'm just trying to say.
Yeah, I know.
I think, even, you know, maybe that could be evened up as far as, the commission consider that, as far as making Paula, she's a chief clerk and all chief clerks should be the same. I don't know why Congress didn't do that. The other situation, I guess you want some time as a whole to think about it, a month, some time at least start working on it in the work session.
Well, she's there, and what's the other one? He's one, you got one, jail administrator, right?
That's lying.
Right, I just used the word that, but, so it's almost like, at reality, she's really a assistant administrator.
Yeah, basically.
That's what that's where you're at.
There ain't nothing there she can't do, I promise you.
Yeah. So, and it might be, in the future, she might be.
The other employee is what do we have her rated at, you know?
Oh, I got the papers.
You know what?
Top of my head, it's right there.
Which position, the file clerk?
Yes.
What pay grade?
Yes.
She is pay grade 10. She's currently at step F, 40C.
So.
And the sheriff requested that she go to pay grade 14.
Okay, what are my clerks?
14, though.
I believe they're 14s. Let me look before I say that for sure, but I do think that they are 14s. I think no, they're not. You've got a couple that are not 14s, but I know they're 14 ages. So let me look that up
Okay.
for sure what your clerks are.
Okay.
I got a dumb question. Some of this stuff in here, like register, convicted felons, assisted sex offender registration, execute civil court paper. You have to be can just anybody do that, or you gotta be a sworn officer to do that?
Like, we're just talking about the civil process or the civil stuff, that's like bond forfeitures, like when the bond.
It's online.
Yeah, when a bondsman comes in, well, if there ain't nobody there, I mean, to us, it's not practical to call somebody 30 minutes away to come just serve a bondsman process when one of the clerks can do it. So they'll just, give it to the clerks there. And then like
I don't know nothing about it, that's the reason I'm asking.
yeah, and like the sex offenders, Paula, she is basically the sex offender officer. She registered every sex offender in the county.
But is that something, you don't have to be,
It's just who you,
you don't have to be a bonded,
no,
sworn official
No,
or anything to do that?
that's just who we nominate to do it. I mean, she was it. I don't know how long she been doing that for.
As long as
As long as I can remember, she's been doing it, so. it's just-
She takes state training as well. She sits through hours of training. Just last month, she sat through many hours.
She's bonded anyway.
Oh, yeah, she's bonded anyway, yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I don't know nothing about it, so that's the reason I was asking.
And then she has to not register them, but then they have to come back and quarterly register every quarter. Then like anybody moves in, they have to come, that's a new register, so.
All right, so basically, we need to check on food, and then we're.
And I'll be checking on that too. I just wanna let y'all aware of it, because I don't know, it just ain't enough money there.
And then if you guys will study this, and Emily, do you anything else you want?
Now, I will find out what the clerks in the county are.
I think Emily has 3 ball games she wants to go play in. Does you have any questions for Emily before we if it's okay for her to go?
We'll just need her at the work session.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go get home, Ron. Anything else for John? Or is there anything else, Sean, you have?
No, that's it.
Okay.
He said they'd have us that bid on that roof for Friday.
Friday.
We'll look at it,
I just told him we needed it probably by the next work session.
Right.
So,
I want to thank you for the work in the Fritos area. People are talking, they're saying, we can tell the
we
difference.
tried.
My
so.
older people are comfortable now going to the Dollar General. Thank you.
And
We tried. But
And I said this earlier, congratulations, I think y'all got a donation, 2 cars.
We did, that's Patrick's
Good job.
ordeal, he can tell you a little bit about that.
We were able to secure 2 vehicles through the state surplus that didn't cost us anything. Those 2 vehicles are not pursuit rated though, but it's gonna fill that gap for like courthouse security. I'm actually going to give up my pursuit rated vehicle and go into the older vehicle. That way our deputies and investigators will be taken care of.
you go ahead, I'm gonna ask the question about the sheriff when you get there.
No, that's unless y'all have anything. We are gonna have to outfit those vehicles. That's gonna be around $9,000. That's as cheap as we can get it, cutting all the corners we can.
So that's like bare minimum.
Yeah.
Any?
I don't know. Going back to what Laura's talking about, how much better it is at the Dollar General. How many municipalities do we have that has a sales tax that doesn't have law enforcement?
You got Edwardsville, Fruitvale.
That's it.
I just wonder if you don't look at it, I know Heflin's always the one we go after that in Ramburn. But I think if they got a sales tax, and I talked with Chris the other day at the school, that I would love to see law enforcement there. But they're bringing in a pretty good bit of money in Edwardsville now, Fruithurst now. I think sometimes, in that area, that if they do have a sales tax, maybe go to the city council meeting up there because they're asking for additional services, and y'all pretty much run the whole show there.
Right.
The city of Heflin has sent law enforcement up there.
Oh, they back us up all the time.
Yeah, into that area, so I think since they have an income that's coming in, to maybe look at their budget and see if they might put some toward, if they want additional law enforcement there, taken away from the county, that especially since they're collecting a fee from the people, that might help with the fee.
If I'm not mistaken, don't they have to, I really don't think they can have law enforcement again in Fruithurst.
Does, as far as
If them having
Yeah,
running
the
a
city,
jail
yeah.
and because of
Well, the
issues
city
that
of
were
Heflin, the
used.
city of Heflin. Well, I think, I'm not talking to Chris, he says that he's on a path to straighten that out. But I think you can go talk to our legislator. But at the end of the day, let's say that they can't. they're collecting tax dollars, and they're wanting more law enforcement from the county, so I'm just saying, if they're collecting tax dollars, then,
Sheriff.
Well,
That's what
I,
I thought you were talking about, share, maybe create another position here, or.
no, no, I'm talking about, well, maybe they might help towards, like the city of Heflin,
Yeah.
we started out at $3, and now we're up to what, 30-something dollars? And all these other people, you're better off to say, okay, disband the city of Heflin's police department and say, it's your job, because at the end of the day, if they disband, that's your job, and then you don't have to pay for a city inmate to be in. Every inmate that goes in everywhere else in the county, no money comes for it. But, if you're collecting taxes, step up to the plate. That's what it's all about. So I just want to say that.
All right. Anything else, Sean?
No.
Okay. Okay. Go get on with that. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks.
Ms. Perry, with the city of Heflin, had asked to speak.
I'll try to shorten this down. There's a lot going on. I would like to get a meeting together again like we did last year, I think, and try to pull all the mayors in. We had a decent turnout, so I'm gonna try to do that again so we can get into this a little bit more than trying to bog y'all down when you've got so much on your agenda. But I'm just gonna quickly go through these items and you guys can stop me or you can ask questions at the end. So workforce development, we just recently had a careers for Cleburne that was Tommy Wood put on at the rec center, and it was for the students and then also was open to the public, and that was the first time we had really done one that specific, and it was huge. They had tons of vendors there, so it was very, very good for us to have all of those options for people. I met with University of Alabama last week. I basically met with her, but then I sent her on to the technical school because it's going to be more of what they do. But they're working on a database to keep a better track of the students after they graduate. I know there are some things, but a lot of times they're just lost, and we really don't know where our programs are really helping and where we need to focus more on from our technical schools and the other programs. So it's a grant-based program, so it should produce some good numbers. So I just sent her on to Eric, and hopefully they can work through that, and that'll be very beneficial to really show the numbers that we know that our technical schools are definitely a positive addition to the workforce. On our industry and commercial development, I'm currently looking for a 27,000 square foot building for an industry. Those are hard to come by, but if any of you guys happen to have something in your community or know where something is, just please let me know.
How many square feet?
27,000 square feet. It's someone that's wanting to move out of Georgia. So if y'all know, I know all of you probably know, but I see somebody at least once a week. Just residents, not just businesses, but they're moving here. They're moving here, they're paying over, asking dollar for houses, sight unseen. We've got people moving in left and right, and we have had an increase in our population from the last census. But this is someone moving out of Georgia because of...
What do we have open right now as far as buildings? I mean, surely there are some.
I don't have any, that's why I'm kind of asking you guys if you know of anything.
Yeah.
Because you
Yes,
do?
Do you have any property or buildings or anything that y'all got under contract, or at least got something y'all can do with it?
Is there any more property left at the industrial park?
Oh, yeah, the industrial park, but they want to move in something in 3 months.
Oh, I understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying outside of that. I mean, y'all used to have sort of a list years ago of we got this at the interstate, this exit, we got
Right.
this in Ranburne.
And we are working on that inventory now. We're working on property inventory. It's just taking time. We got working on one in Main Street, and then we're working on another one. Well, I say we, it's basically me. So I have started trying to pull that together. But that's where I need you guys, because I don't know what else is available out in the county and everyone else. So it is on my list to send all you guys an email, and if you can communicate back with me. Because a lot of times I don't even know you know, sometimes they're not even willing to sell, it's not even worth asking, you know, but I do need to know all of those things so we can have a better inventory. But this just happened 2 days ago, so I really haven't had time to really look. But it is because they want to move out because of, you know, the taxes that are being put on them in Georgia. American RV, they are actually getting very, very close to completely being in their new offices. There's a few technical things they're working through, and then they'll be completely moved in, and hopefully we'll be able to move their trailers out. Dollar General, we do have, I think things have been signed, but Heflin and Raymer, Dollar General, and new Dollar Generals that will replace the old Dollar Generals. It'll be the market type. So there's some movement there, and you know, I know Family Dollar was looking at Raymer, and still are. That's not out of the question, but this Dollar General will actually be taking the place of the place that Family Dollar was looking at. So Rodney's really excited about that. Cheaha State Park, finally, they're moving forward with expansion. Well, they're deciding whether they're gonna, I guess, tear down the lodge or rebuild the lodge.
I don't wanna move too far ahead of it here.
Yeah.
Going back to the Dollar General, where are they thinking about relocating in Heflin?
Up on Highway 9.
No,
Scott Dennis.
Okay, that's where I was thinking,
Yeah.
okay.
Scott
But
Dennis.
there's also some property up around the hill above Yankees.
Yeah, yeah. This will be there, kind of where the road number is, that right there. And then Raymer's will be down, you know, where they have their property. And hopefully Family Dollar will still come, and that'll be great on both ends. You know, we've proven $2 stores, we are a dollar store community, so they definitely can make it. So, but Cheaha, that, you know, that still impacts us a lot. We hear a lot of negative about Cheaha, and I hate to hear negative about Cheaha. You know, but their lodging is just so old, and then the restaurant being closed, and they don't have a solution about the restaurant yet, but I hope maybe privatizing it, I hope they come up with something.
Are they
Because,
thinking about privatizing?
well, I don't know, they're still
That's-
talking about it.
That's the way out.
Yes, it is the way out, and it worked in Gunnersville. I don't know why it can't work at Cheaha. But, you know, I think they're finally realizing, you know, Cheaha's been left behind. And people drive all the way up there, and then they have nowhere to stay, or they have nowhere to eat, you know, and it's just real disappointing, you know. So hopefully they're finally paying it some attention. So I met with, well, I'm getting ahead too, but I met with Price and Robertson last week, and we talked about it again. So it's definitely, you know, they definitely realize what we need there. And the infrastructure. The infrastructure has been a big holdup there, but that's all in the plan.
Well, there's, you know, Calhoun County's thinking about running, City of Oxford's thinking about running the water up, are they still working?
I think they've got it figured out. I think they're kind of doing it, you know, because Robbie had met with Alton, and they were trying to work it out, but I think they're moving forward to take care of it. And I don't know if they're involved in Oxford or not. I'm not sure, because this is kind of,
It's coming up the backside.
yeah. So that will enable them to do a lot more, just having just water up there. Ruskin, they're still rocking along. They have plans to expand. They would love to move their other businesses out here. And then that way, I don't know the numbers right now, but that is in the talks. And we would love, you're talking about the industrial park, so that would definitely be somewhere we would love for them to expand to. And that's something we're looking at. We're just waiting on our master plan for the industrial park. So once we get the master plan, then that will help us look and see what actual land is usable. You know, because you know as well as I do, it's all, you know, it's all hilly, but the master plan is where we can locate. And ideally, we want retail on the interstate, facing the interstate, and then the industry can be back. So that ideally would be the plan, and that would be great to have Ruskin there. And that way, it's kind of a great partner.
Hardy's property, what's going on with that? Are you marketing that?
The brothers don't want, the brothers can't agree to sell it, so there's nothing we can do. We've talked to them and they can't agree. One wants to sell it, one doesn't. So there's nothing we can do, and it's really, we get all kinds of complaints about that. But if they're not willing,
Can the city condemn it?
Probably, if you got to that point, it would, and we have been talking about codes and things, and we don't have that in place, but I think we're gonna be to a point we're gonna have to start either finding them for the vacant buildings that are taking up space and, they're just,
When you dive into that one, there's about 20 that you'd have to dive in.
yeah, there are, and then with one in particular, the whole city would turn against you, I think, probably, because they just don't handle it well, but I think it's gonna have to happen, because there's some businesses people don't even need to go in, but
They're unsafe. Floors falling in, I think.
yeah, so it's really dangerous. Tree brand expansion, I've met with them several times. Tree brand and Ruskin, they both work on packaging and just work hand in hand, and they're both still, they're very busy. And the EV batteries is one reason that has brought them business, both of them, is the packaging and this turn to go to EV. But it's really interesting, and I want to set up a couple of tours because Rodney has not been to.
Did Ruskin move out of the old sewer building?
They re-signed a contract.
So it looks like it's sort of dormant when you said.
I don't know, that's when I mentioned the building, like subleasing.
What is the size of that building about? It's about 20,000.
Yeah, if we could get them to sublease, but I'm not real sure where they're at right now.
But don't Glenn still on?
Yeah, but it's leased to Ruskin for another,
Oh.
they re-signed the lease, so they could have it as a backup.
That's easy to work, oh, it's a backup. Okay.
I guess so, yeah, but they didn't let it go back to Glenn, so they still have it.
So he's still getting a check.
Yeah.
Mr. Weaver, like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
These tree brands, are they asking for more abatements?
Probably will. They haven't yet. They have asked me to, I sent the information into the state, to see, what the options are. And they do, they can ask because of the number of employees, and it's over 200.
Well, I know they can ask.
Yeah, we're working on it. So I kind of walked along with him, and so I was about to say, Rodney has not toured there yet, and if any of you would like to tour when we tour Tree Brand, let me know. It's very interesting, and it's crazy how fast they've grown. They've got a machine that they got in started year before last, and they're getting another one that's even more advanced than the last one. I think it's like 500 pallets an hour, maybe. I may be wrong on that, but it's pretty interesting. So if y'all want to go, I'd be glad to get you guys involved in that tour. I'm sorry. I'm not as fast. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in a hurry. I just covered the industrial park already. We're actively making contacts with motels, expanding industries. Our numbers are still not what they like to see, but maybe, we'll get somebody to take a chance on us. At least get some kind of motel there, and Senator Price definitely agrees that that's what we need, and he wants to help us any way that he can get a motel. I'm going to skip over this Main Street stuff because it doesn't apply to everyone, so I'm just going to kind of move along. But some of the key things most of you probably already know, Hearts of Cleburne will be downtown on Main Street. We're super excited about that. It's going to be very, very nice, a great place for Robbie. And she deserves that. She needs more space, and I think this is going to be wonderful for all her programs. And Asempa has bought the old bank downtown. They pretty much gutted it at this point. So they're going to have just their pipeline business there. I think they have about 5 divisions, but they're going to have just their pipeline home office there. Working on updating all the websites. Their websites I found out are about a 5-year. The technology's moving so fast, so we're working on updating all the websites. It's just going to take money, which is very expensive on that, but we're working on that because both of them are very far behind. Tourism Day. I'm going to speak just a little bit on tourism, and then I will sit down. As most of you know, the chamber is in transition again, and I'm trying to keep things pulled together as far as tourism is concerned. Something we're lacking big time in Cleburne County, and that is what we are, is off of our agritourism our ecotourism, it makes us who we are, and we're not letting the people know. I don't think enough people know, we don't really have anything to pull together to give to people, so I'm trying to pick up some pieces and attend meetings, and to try to keep things going until the chamber gets back on their feet. They're actually going to go into a contract with Calhoun County Chamber, and they're going to set them up, get them set up, and try to help them and kind of mentor them along. And I think it was a wise choice on their part to kind of get everything so it can transition over and be a bigger and better chamber when they get finished. But I'm definitely trying to work on trying to identify all of our agritourism, which is just a lot. It's just popping up every day, you know. I think there's like 3 or 4 in Ranburne. There's a new one in Hollis. They're not new, but they just went to the Sweetgrove, is it Sweetgrove, Alabama? They've all gotten under that, and you know, people are going to these places. They're looking for these places. Of course, we knew we already had the winery and the rock house, and they're just all over the county. And I want to try to pull all that together for when people want to make that day trip to Cleburne County. It's all together, and they can zip along, even if it's not in the city limits. You know, they're crossing over Ranburne, or they're crossing over in Hollis, and they're spending money when they come through. So I want to try to pull all of that together for the people so they can, it'll be easier when you come to Cleburne County. Okay, I'll pass it.
Mr. Owen,
Is our industrial board members, board members, are they the same ones? We still got the same ones? Have they changed any?
Not changed yet. Not changed yet. And that's why I'm gonna have another meeting and see if I can get a better turnout. Would night meetings be better? I think the last one we did after lunch, and that may have been a hindrance. Do you guys have a preference? Just, I know it's part of depending on when you're, to try to pull the mayors together and the board, and don't really have a preference.
You don't want to have them, you want to have it the first part of the week, right?
No, not on Mondays and Tuesdays, no.
Don't have it on Monday and Tuesday? Okay.
We
Okay.
got everything else going on Mondays and
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
You filled it up already.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to come up with something, and then you guys can, hopefully we'll have a better turnout. Hopefully we'll have a better turnout, and you guys can, you know, sit down, and we won't be as rushed, and you can kind of ask questions.
We're here twice a month, come on back.
of course, we have Ms. Wright here with the extension office. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I didn't add myself to the agenda. I'm Randy Wright. I'm the new Cleburne County Extension Coordinator. The new Debbie Matthews is what everybody's known me by in the county and the city so far. I did bring, just in case I did have an opportunity to speak, I did bring some flyers and my card for each of you to, you'll have all my contact information. This is just a few of the items and the programs we have coming up very soon. But we also have lots more on the website, and all that is there on the bottom. But I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that we are rocking and rolling with the extension. I want to speak with you about Leadership Cleburne. I want to get that going again. I did speak with Kiwanis, and I think Christy said that maybe, yes, that maybe once the chamber is up and going, maybe next year when we do Cleburne Leadership would be best. But I do want to get that going. I just want to introduce myself, let you know that I'm here. I've talked to Emmett several times, met a couple of you. I think I came by to see you one day. I met Emily. But anyway, I'm there. Let me know how I can help with programming in the area, obviously in the city. And just know that we are ready to hit Cleburne County hard with programming, educational programming, and ag, and workforce development, whatever you're seeing the need. And I will be in contact this summer about the needs assessment to see how we can better Cleburne County, the people of Cleburne County. Okay, just let me know if I can help with anything.
The DACA meeting that we're gonna have, would she be a good one to come to that meeting?
And what is it? We're going to have a meeting with ADEC to consider broadband
Okay, oh, yes,
in
yes.
the county. There are going to be grant funds available to the
Okay.
county. We don't know what that number is yet. The state hasn't announced what our portion is going to be. But we are having a meeting here in our JSU side of the building think it's on the 27th, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's.
Okay, my email's on there, can you send me that
I'll check
information?
in.
I'll be glad to.
I think Tammy wants to be included on that.
And the good thing about that is we try and get all the mayors to come and all the council members and stuff, so that would give you a chance to
Right
really
now.
mingle with a lot of folks. And Ryan should be.
What time?
It is 27 to 2
It's
o'clock.
at 2
2
o'clock.
o'clock, okay. 2 o'clock. Okay, that sounds great.
So
So
it's
thank
make
you.
sure I
so-
actually will not be here, but
Okay.
everybody else will be here. So.
Okay, just email me that, because I will forget between now and about 5 minutes, I will forget that. But I appreciate that. Anything else that you can think of, that I would,
I just thought that, where you get to see a lot more bang for your buck, that's Ranburne,
Yes.
Fruithurst. I don't know if got anybody coming from Thomas Crawford, but that there will give you a variety of all locations in the county.
okay, that'd be perfect.
And when you said the 27th, I'm sorry, Randy, go
No,
ahead.
you're fine, thank y'all so much.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
We are having the Special Olympics. When I say we, it's, you know, the county's having the Special Olympics on the 27th that morning. And that's a big deal, guys. We haven't hosted that in a long time. So we're gonna, you know, they're gonna do their little drive-through that morning. And we're gonna try to, we've ordered them something, just to let them know they've been in Cleburne County, and we wanna kind of roll out the red carpet, because, you know, they're little athletes. They're just as important as all of our other teams that go and compete. So y'all can mark your calendars for
And
that.
speaking of sports programs, I know the county is also having their first track meet
Yes,
tomorrow at the high school.
yeah.
With the new track, they're gonna be doing, we're setting up scaffolding and stuff for them to shoot keep the score.
So tomorrow we will be at the library. We partnered with the library for our container,
Oh, I know all about
vegetable
that.
container gardening program tomorrow. I think we're gonna have like 25 people there. So y'all come if you want to do that. That's at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Tammy, have we changed the board as far as, who's over our chamber now? Who's-
There's no one. They're not gonna hire anyone until they get everything straightened out with the books and get back their nonprofit and all that kind of things. They're not gonna hire a director until they get all that done, and then they'll put out for the hire a director after that.
But they've got a board.
The board's running it, yeah,
Yeah.
the board. The board's working on all those things.
But there's a lady there every day,
Christy, I
yeah.
think she just works out of there. She's on the board, but I think she just works out of there.
Okay.
All right. We ready to move, or?
Yep.
Okay. We have, I know we have Shane Christensen here with East Alabama, and I figured that we'd ask him if you need, he said he's here if you need any questions when we get down to new business and the transportation budget. So, no bid openings, no awards or awards presentations. Moving on to consent agenda, looked like everything was initial.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor saying aye. Thank you, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to new business, transportation budget. This is, section 5311, non-urbanized area public transportation, whereas the Cleburne County Commission recognizes the need for a public transportation program, and whereas the Cleburne County Commission is recognized as a member of the Cleburne County Transportation Steering Committee, and whereas the Cleburne County Commission recognizes that the requirements to obtain Section 5311 funds from the Alabama Department of Transportation includes a local match of 50% for operating expenses and 20% for administration and capital expenses. And whereas the Cleburne County Commission recognizes that the local match will be shared costs with other participating municipalities, being responsible for providing an appropriate allocation of local non-federal funds to secure the operating of the Section 5311 non-urbanized area public transportation program. Now therefore be it resolved that the Cleburne County Commission hereby commits the amount of $33,843 as a local non-federal match for capital, administrative, and operation expenditures under the Section 5311 non-urbanized area public transportation program during fiscal year 2024. Be it further resolved that the Commission Chairman is authorized to execute an agreement with the East Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission for provision of transit services in Cleburne County, and the Chairman is also authorized to execute any certification
and assurance required in conjunction with the program. I'll entertain a motion. You got a motion, Ms. Cobbetts, we have a second. I won't wait all day now.
I'll say that.
Got a second. Mr. Hendricks. Discussion, and know that Mr. Christian,
It's Christian.
I'm sorry, is here. Go ahead.
Okay, I do, Marty, I have a question.
You come, both of y'all
How
come
many-
on up. Shane, I don't know if y'all met Shane before, but he's been with East Alabama for what, 24 years?
23.
23. And, he's been over this department for quite a long time. So,
Marty, question for you. How many dialysis patients are you carrying to Anniston
One right now.
right now? You did have two, correct?
Yeah,
And you're down to one.
the bad thing about dialysis people is they don't last a long time.
But my understanding was because I asked this, because I wanted to be clear about it. Those dialysis patients, unless they're wheelchair bound, cannot be carried unless it's pre-certified every 2 months through the EMS. So the only transportation for some of them is our transportation.
It's legal.
I wasn't aware of that until I started asking questions, but they cannot be carried by our ambulance if they're not wheelchair bound.
Right now, I've got one, but tomorrow, I may have 2 more. I mean,
That's just a restriction on that, and I wasn't aware of it until I started asking questions, but EMS cannot take them unless they're wheelchair bound, and then they possibly can carry them if they get approved through Medicaid, but they have to do it every 2 months. It's a continuous thing. So it's a little more complicated. I wasn't aware of that until I started asking questions about it, so just be aware that we'll put some people.
at one time, I had 5 going 3 days a week.
And you never know, he might have 5 in 3 months in our county.
how many do you have every month? I mean, we asked for a report one time, and I think we got about 2 of them, and we never get any more.
I gave him the lead, I mean, he reminded me every month, and I give him to him. As far as the number of people, it averages out about 17 to 20 a month. But then again, I got those, like on dialysis, she goes 2 days a week, so.
Yeah.
And she's down there from Mr. Hill's area.
That takes most of your day, just take them.
So our number is 33,843 is our share?
That's correct.
Okay. Oh, good, right?
All right, any other questions? Do you want to vote? Y'all ready to vote? All in favor saying aye? It's all unanimous, motion carries. All right. Motion carries.
Thanks, Mark.
Oh, yeah, now y'all leave. It's okay, you'll get a hold of it.
You have the,
There's a separate letter that goes with it, the resolution tomorrow.
Yes, you'll have to do it.
there's 2 papers.
Yeah.
You start forwarding me that monthly to our email, just forward it to our email. Or at least that they can send it out.
Email us to.
I know Lee has a lot of them,
Yes.
monthly, we need to see that.
Anyway,
report.
so, if you send.
Well, just like last month,
Okay.
I only got like 8 trips last month, and it jumped. Pretty good, so. People spoke about it,
Yeah.
like I said, on dialysis, tomorrow, I only have 3 more, I don't know.
My biggest concern was that dialysis, I wasn't aware of that until I started
there's some people, you know, that have to go to the doctor there again. I'm the only way they got to go. That's my biggest thing, is the doctors and dialysis. So, if I got time, you know, if I need to go to the grocery store, I'll try to work them in like between the dialysis or whatever. But, you know, medical needs is more.
So how's your little band holding up? Is it okay?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
I'm telling you, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to go find a parking lot somewhere to park.
Now, we replace that thing how often? Every 2 years? 3?
Probably more like 5. You'll need, probably in the 25 or 26 cycle, we'll need to look at replacing it. We just don't need to get behind because we haven't been able to order any vehicles, anybody in the state, through Aldott for 3 years. And now there's such a backlog, all of us are kind of scrambling. So if you get behind, it's hard to catch up. And then you put on top of it any problem on the state level with state bidding and contracting, and it starts to compound really quickly. I'd be looking at the next fiscal year, the 26 year, go ahead, because it's a miserably long process between yes, we want, and then it rolls up on you.
And we're going to go on with this. So that band you got right now, is it the sweet spot, or is it too small, or is it?
It's the sweet spot.
Okay, that's what okay, you answered my question.
It's more cost efficient, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's so when you crank it up and it costs money. If you get it cranked.
yeah, and the current availability on state bid that we're all statewide being offered aren't even those big boxy ones right now. It's a smaller, what they call high roof van. I look at it and think of it like a catering van that they've hollowed out and put some seats in and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, something just a little
It's
bit.
a little bigger than a minivan.
Right.
They still have the minivan, the Dodge Caravan on state contract, but this is, it's a Ford product, company out of Mississippi that has the contract right now. But the modified cutaways, they're not offering this right now.
Yeah. Me and Marty talked about this many times, is have something to get around there and get people in and out. But I believe they can get in and out out of this thing.
Oh, yeah, the thing, it don't set that high off the ramp. I mean, the little ramp that I got for wheelchairs, you can just about pop a quilly with a wheelchair and put them on there.
Right.
I mean, it's very efficient. I mean, I can park anywhere.
Of course, they can do it.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to reports of staff, county administrator, Ms. Copeland.
I've printed you out a copy of this, and I'm not gonna go into every tiny detail, but I do think that it's important to realize how much goes to this office, and this by no means is a full list of everything that we take care of, but I've kind of hit the high spots. But mostly, I'm spending a lot of time right now working on financials for FY22 audit. I will have you information at the next meeting in our work session about how the first half of the year is. I've got some of it already kind of put together, but I need a little more time to analyze everything, make sure everything's in the right places. And since I've sent out A&Es today, I will get a little feedback from some of the department heads on line item revisions and that kind of thing. I'm starting to see some of that now that we've gotten this far into the budget year. And then just little things like we have helped with the Sheriff's Department with their ADECA documents that they needed to receive these 2 vehicles. Of course, we had the ADECA meeting here. We've got another one planned. We'll be giving them some contact information for that. Some of it's just our normal routine things, writing resolutions, payroll, as you can see. It even amazed me when I started putting some of these numbers together that, we had over 500 invoices to pay this month. That's normal. I mean, it's like that. It's 450 to 500 invoices almost every month. And I've tried to also express to department heads to please don't wait till you have all of your invoices and turn them in all at one time, because Emily gets bombarded with that, and that backs the whole system up as far as getting AP out as quickly and getting our vendors paid as quickly as possible.
Did you set up a date for them to turn them in?
Yes, they have a date that they turn them in, but on top of that, I also, when we send that email out to all department heads, giving them, basically they have to have us all their invoices 48 hours before our AP print date. So if we print on a Friday, we want about Wednesday close of business. And we've asked them to not hold on to all of their invoices and turn them in all at one time, because you can imagine if everybody does that on Wednesday afternoon at 4:30, and it's gonna take us more than a day or two to get all those invoices keyed in. So the department heads are great, just constantly, give us 2, 3 here and there. That's good, that's actually a good thing, 'cause that spreads the workload out over the couple of weeks between each AP. Still have a couple of departments that they wait and have their department head sign off on all the invoices at one time, so they're all over in a pack of 30 invoices at a time.
So when they give you when they call for a PO, then you have to wait for the invoice and it comes to their office, or does it come here?
Some go to them, some come to us. Most of them are just utilities and all that kind of thing come here.
Right.
If it's something, a product or something that they have purchased, most of them go straight to them. If we get something here, like say somebody's ordered some supplies, we send that to the department head to sign off on, because we don't know whether they got those supplies or not. It's just a way of checking to make sure that we're actually receiving what we're being billed for.
I'm just trying to maybe add something right there. We used to have that same problem, but all of ours always come to the same office.
Right.
But when you got this many
It's gotta be.
stores, as I call it,
Exactly.
it's a verification that, I'm just trying to figure out if more of the invoices, once y'all do the PO and to verify you get it, because I know in our department, sometimes we wait on stuff like toilet paper stuff to come in and make sure it's signed off on. Is there just if there's something that you might could add to the departments, or ask them if there's a way to get some more of these invoices to come in, because I know Fred, he hold this to the last day and hand them to y'all.
Yeah, that's what we try not to do. And fortunately, in his situation, he doesn't generally have that many invoices. We have a department that pretty routinely gives us 25 or 30 at a time. And it takes a long time to split those up, especially if it's split over more than one department, which happens sometimes.
But does theirs come in monthly, so they probably come in
They come in all throughout the month, just like almost anybody with invoices.
You spoke with them?
I have, and it's a situation where the same person's been doing the same job for a long time, and they're just used to doing it their certain way, and I think they just, that's just what they do. They hang on to the invoices, they get them signed off on, and they.
But they do realize that they're not getting paid, right?
Well, I mean, they get paid, we just.
I know, I'm just saying it's jeopardy that they don't
Yeah,
get paid. Okay.
That's right. There's always that chance, that it's gonna happen. And if they would go ahead and turn them in throughout the month, and if, a situation happens where for some reason they're out a week, or whoever's gonna turn them in's out a week, we're gonna be a lot more willing to work well if it's just a once in a while thing, and if it's just the same old, bring them in at 4:30 on the last day. So we do what we can, we want everybody to be paid.
I think I know you're talking about. Do they come up here weekly to get supplies or mail or
Pretty
anything?
much.
So we just need to pass a resolution saying that everybody needs to bring more.
They're supposed to be having their.
Well, and we're not open about it, it's just, it does kind of put a kink in the process,
In the key.
Oh.
You can see that, we're talking about 500 AP invoices entered just in 1 month, so that's about 250 up.
If that's true, then we just need to pursue them for us.
Well, which group is it? My group?
You don't have 30 invoices in a month.
If it falls under our department, then we need to just have a discussion with our department and tell them, we need to stop that.
Which group is it?
Road.
I got a drive on that.
I'll tell you.
And she's great at what she does, she's very, very good at what she does, and so I really hate to push things and make her mad or anything like that, because I'm not about that. I'm just saying, we have to keep things moving, we want everybody paid on time, and that puts a little kink in the process when you get them that many at a time. I've seen them come in and they're in a It's almost too much to fit in one of those yellow envelopes, let's put
But
it that way.
other than that, all of our other invoices are
Pretty
being
much.
paid on time.
Everything's getting paid on time. It's just, you know, if for some reason we don't get an invoice from a department, that's not the reason that it wouldn't, because we pay every invoice that we have received.
So the A&E report, you posted it out this week, right? So, you
They would
email
not.
us a copy of it? You done emailed us
Of
one?
the A&E, yes.
They came today.
Yes.
Okay, I just had a look.
Mhm. Okay, so, just to move along, I worked with, Tammy Perry a little bit about getting some different tree burning abatements. Hendricks asked to look at them, kind of see what they have been offered, and these are just normal routine kinds of things that we do if we get called about something.
The reason I asked for that is they gave those folks a rammer an abatement without even telling us. That's the reason I asked for it, so.
And we didn't know about it.
And I wanted to make sure.
As they
Right.
can.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, legally they can, but
But there should be some communication probably, I would think.
it ain't like they're gonna pick up the baby. I mean, they got 20 acres out there that wrapped up, so.
And that's the reason why they're moving the other one out there.
I mean, I would have voted for it, but you just sort of like to be brought in the loop, you know.
Well, it's not much, you got a pretty good bit going on, so I'm proud to hear that.
But I thought that did come, I thought that Tammy came to us and gave us the list of the abatements.
They did, not 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they built a new building out there, and they gave them a abatement for a building. They didn't come to us on that one.
They have 2 abatements.
They actually got 3,
They have 3,
Yeah.
yeah.
which we was involved in 2 of them, but we weren't involved in that one. Yeah, I mean, legally, they did.
So is it $1 million worth more equipment they're bringing out there? So if they're,
I don't know what the dollar figure is.
if they're bringing in $1 million worth of equipment, then there's $1 million worth of building going on.
They already tore one building down and in the process of building another.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
That lady, she was after those high school students.
they're doing good.
Going for anything on the home consortium,
I'm gonna lose them.
doing any of those this year?
I'm not. I know that's been brought up though.
I just know Weaver's got me reviewing their stuff and I haven't seen any here.
Is that concerning
The
like
home consortium.
the public housing and then the taxes paid, they're trying to drop?
That's what,
That's the one they-
Joyce came up here a couple of months ago. I think it was at a work session, I don't think you were here. Yeah, they, like that one example she gave, went from like 60,000 to 5,000 or something. I mean, and she says they didn't even go through the legislature, is that so? What can we do about it, other than, I mean, you call Randy Price and all, and
Because of the legislation.
I guess they got a big lobbying group, huh? Powerful.
see, this is the same thing that there was, a few years ago, they was calling that Lowe's deal, where all these big corporations don't want to pay what everybody else pays.
Well,
Were you have some more?
I do.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try to get through them. We did work with the IAC to get, a report in for our expenditures of LATCF funds up to the end of 2022, which we didn't have any, we still had to do a report, stating any of our plans, and that's already been turned, that got turned in early in March, it was due by the end of March. We are still working with, IAC right now for project and expenditure report. And that one is a little bit more inclusive in that they want everything up to date, so we keep, like, we're back and forth, making sure there's nothing that's changed, like we haven't gotten the F-250 for the engineers department. They sent us an email today and asked if we had gotten that yet. So they want that totally up to date as much as possible, and we'll actually turn in the report for it right at the end of April, so that it's as current as it can be. All right, I've just been working with them, providing them bid information for the ARPA projects that, with the water system. Met with the engineer and the human resource officer concerning hiring issues in the road department, working on some solutions for that. Hopefully we'll have something on that, or some ideas of what we can do fairly soon. build our outside entities, City of Heflin, Town of Greenburg, JSU, et cetera. Using the information from the human resource officers, we paid all these employees. Of course, we had 3 bi-weekly payrolls this month, so we ended up with 273 direct deposits, employees being paid. And then we have all the transfers and AP checks and all those things that are just our normal, everything right there pretty much. The numbers change a little bit about number 12 to about number 18. That's every single month. That's just normal routine business. And then we got A&E reports out today, and wanted to remind you that Emily Brown and I will be attending a class in Prattville next week, and it's on personnel. That will be my last basic course that I require to have to become a certified county administrator, and I have already taken enough of the extra classes that you have to have. There's 4 basic classes, and then there's some electives that you can take. You're only required to take 1 or 2 of them. I've had several of them. I've taken everything that I can because it's all useful information for my job. So once I have that personnel class taken care of, I qualify to become certified, which you can't get it for 3 years, but I'll have my coursework completed on that. So
Great job.
I'm trying to get that stuff taken care of.
Mr. Hendricks, have you had a chance to work on the MOUs?
I've kind of been looking at them, and I talked to Lee a little bit about the MOUs, and he was saying that we need to take some of the specifics out about how the reimbursement kind of thing works when the county does things for the cities. But I'll catch up with him when he gets back, and we should be able to get something together on that, and then we'll send what we think about it to you and get the legal side of it worked out too.
Do we need to discuss the Harts deal? Is that coming up next month or month after?
We probably need to talk about it at least at the next work session, because it's coming up, so we need to have that taken care of by June. And of course, by the time we meet again, it's May.
She's asked, I think, to come to this next work session.
She did. She called, I don't know which lady called, but she was calling for Robbie and asked that she be able to come and talk to us. And she said, "What day is your commission meeting?" I said, "Today." And she said, "A little bit late to kind of put something together right now, but how about the next meeting?" And I said, "Well, a work session would be a good place to try to handle that." Of course, that's concerns with the community action office not being in that building anymore. And do we still want to do a utilities reimbursement for them? And if so, we just need to come up with a new agreement that doesn't include any verbiage about the community action part of it, so.
We can do that. Okay.
And once I know what we want to write up, we can write something up if we want to do it at all, but, we can figure that out by May 1st, that's our next
Community action is still, Thursday's supposed to be our day at the Heflin office. And it's just a hit and miss.
I mean, there might be a good reason to help fund utilities at Hartsville. I don't know what all goes on there, but it's not community action, so we do need to change the agreement.
I'm still getting a lot of calls that's being forwarded, and they're not, it's hard for them to get somebody there. We're having a call, once I call, they'll get back with them, but it's just been hard for people. Thursday is supposed to be the day they're there, but they're not there half the time.
It's very frustrating when, you tell people, they'll help you if you go in and they're not there, so.
Well,
And then, of course, our industrial development, not to change the subject, I guess, kind of on the same thing, that agreement ends this fiscal year also, so that's something that definitely needs to be
In the budget, we're gonna
addressed.
work with it.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and come up with a plan so that it can, whether you want to keep continuing to fund that, or if not, so that when we come to budget times, because it's right around the corner. I mean, just a couple of months out, we'll be working on budget, so.
any other questions?
I've got one.
Yes, sir.
The issue of the forestry service road agreement, I thought it was gonna be on the agenda. We postpone it because Lee's not here or something.
I think that was up to Lee to bring that forward, I was guessing. So we'll probably wait on him.
Okay.
Have you got anything from Lee? I mean,
The only thing Lee wanted me to tell everybody was that, this, damn mind just went blank. stormwater deal, we're gonna get $150,000, and it's a 35% match, but you can do in-kind work. And he will have us a list of projects for the next work session, and, he says he thinks we can do it without any money, just furnish riprap and furnish work, you know.
There's plenty of
What
places
type
to
of
do
projects
it.
is it?
It's gonna be culverts, he said he had a list of culverts in all 3 of our districts.
Yeah, that's what I got 3 in my, 3 right
That's
now.
hurt from one of them.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be the big culverts, this is gonna be just like pipes.
No.
But he says he's got a list of them.
It's hard to tell what she showed us tonight, if that's on our right of way or anything.
Well, you get, people go out and they put them little 6-inch pipes in and a handful of gravel will stop them up, or a little twig. And that's what she kept saying at her house, but I guess she finally clarified it's just going into a pasture.
Because they've had a lot of, like, those driveways that we've had that's, the coverage stopped up and it's tearing our roads up, but the people can't afford to put a new one in. But then we're getting the damage from it. Those are issues that we need to address, because it's our roads that are being destroyed from those covers.
Terry, did you have anything else from?
I don't have anything else to leave, but, did you have a chance to look at the fireworks tax? That was the only thing Lee asked me.
You all looked at I had sent you the ordinance on it, and
Carl called me and said that they got $4 in December and $5 in January.
there's not much coming in, I know that. We are still getting that, you know what you found out, we are still getting that from Avenue. Alabama Department of Revenue doesn't really want to do anything with fireworks tax. We've been back and forth with them a little bit on that, but
How could we do an audit out there or something? Cause it's gotta be more than $4 in December, $5 in January.
Yeah, something's
That's
wrong, because I can, you know as well as I do, that one fireworks stand, they're paying their taxes, you can bet on that.
well, I mean, they're not getting a large portion of it. I know that, you know, some months we'll have some months we don't have anything at all. And, they're getting, what was it, 2%?
2%.
Yeah, but
2%.
December and January, the last of December, it would have went into January, and you would have received it in.
Numbers wrong on that.
Let's see.
But,
And then they can blow up. Carl told me he didn't get nothing for fireworks, so.
They wouldn't get it, right?
If you spend my 500, there's a lot of them out there spend a lot more than 500 than me, I'll tell you that. I mean, they're hauling some fireworks out of that
We
place.
should talk about that,
And now you buy them in Walmart and places in the stores, I see it dropping off.
That
I
thing's
see a lot of
got
people coming out there.
No. The deal where we're going to Montgomery.
That's
Because
right.
that 10:30 appointment, we're supposed to be at the,
That's what I was asking you about.
we're supposed to be at the ACCA building until 11:30. So, I guess, do we need to change that, or?
Or what time is our schedule to be at the ACCA building? See, I didn't realize we were scheduled to be, we always come by there, but I didn't.
Well, I think y'all three can
realize
handle
we were
that, because I gotta be at the gym tearing out
scheduled.
stadium seats, so I'm not going down there to get nothing, I'm not gonna get nothing out of it anyway, so I'm not going. That's changed.
We were just going to.
We usually have our Sonny gives us.
Yeah, Robbie got us scheduled to tear off the
And
team
they
stadium
usually
seats.
give us a barbecue.
I told him, I said, that things, if you see them, you know how heavy they are. So we're all scheduled on the 10th, I think it is. You wanna come around?
The high school gym?
I don't mind the one downstairs, I figured I'd get them out, it's the one that's upstairs.
Hey, we can
We
be back
gave
on.
money to have all that work done.
You can't do nothing without in-kind services. If we
Get down there early,
figure that out.
honestly, something.
They paid money.
Whatever we're gonna do.
Well,
we
you don't
just
think
need to
I'm
decide.
right too, Ted?
Let me get y'all back into all on the
Yeah,
same
I'm
page.
just trying to figure out.
Oh, yeah, we
what
talked
about
it is
this.
that we're
No, I want to give Mr. Odom a chance. I want to give Mr. Odom a chance.
Okay.
What
Go ahead,
time-
Mr.
What
Evans.
time do you wanna go?
Not.
I'm not really-
Ms. Cobb, there was the subpoena that you had called me about, Lee and Lisa got that to me, I spoke with both of them, and got a letter sent back to that attorney that despite our best efforts, there were no records located. I've not heard any word back from him on that. The watershed letter went out, I think I sent a copy to Commissioner Hendricks, have heard no response on that. We spoke very briefly before the meeting, I really don't expect to get a response, but if I do, I'll certainly circulate that. And I was in a jury trial last month, which took up a chunk of the middle of the month, but I'm hoping to have a draft of the sewerage ordinance to you before the next meeting.
I do have the information on the fireworks tax. I've got, what I have is a copy of the act in the Code of Alabama, and then I also have our resolution that was passed years ago about it. You can increase the percentage, but I think that's not the issue. I mean, legally, we can increase the percentage on the fireworks tax. Of course, it would take a resolution to do that. But I don't think that's the issue. I think it's collection. I think there's a problem with collection, maybe it's being audited. I think that's the issue.
But
That's something.
when you talk to them about that, I mean, there's places in Ranford that sell fireworks. They only open up for 3 or 4 weeks a year. I mean, I don't even know that they even got a business license or they're paying taxes or anything, and I'm sure probably Hollis has got some. And I don't know if you got any in
No, I don't
there.
have it.
But
We don't have
We'll talk to
many
Amy about it,
awful
see who
people in
else,
the comments.
who else.
They're all in jail.
Well, that may be something, and let's ask him, would that be something that our compliance officer could also look into?
Where I start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And like what she said, right now we're at 4%, but the legislation allows us to go up to 8, without going back to the legislature. If anybody wants to do that, I mean, everything comes out of what it is.
And, well, that may be a hammer that you can use to get them to comply with the audit.
So is there, something that as far as changing, I've had a few folks approach me that did not get the letters about changing from the old department
Taxes.
to the new.
Yeah, to stage from,
We can, let me reach out to the Alabama Department of Revenue. I have talked with them a few times, and they've been fairly lenient with people as far as the changeover and realizing that they didn't get the letter in time. Let me get a hold of them. They might can actually just provide us maybe a formal letter that they have that we can directly
Yes.
send to people. Because I have got questions.
really didn't get straightened out.
This is something we was talking about a couple of days ago.
On this tax, I think there's some confusion there because, like I've told you before, I pay all of mine to Matt, to the state of Alabama. But the city is saying that they're not seeing where I paid my taxes. I paid my taxes, but see, they're still, I think, they were supposed to, they were changing to Matt, to the state of Alabama. They
Is that
were-
an acronym, Matt?
They were with Avenue,
Alabama taxes.
yeah.
My
You know,
taxes.
And so I believe there's some confusion. They're sending me, I'm still getting letters, and I sent the lady a letter and said, how come y'all can't coordinate y'all's taxes? Why cannot Avenue have some kind of connection with the state to see where these taxes are being paid?
Avenue had an issue with yours, and I actually talked to them several times, and what they explained to me was something about the way your tax type was set up for your business to begin with. And it's saying it's like a F user tax, something like that.
You just.
And it's,
Is that LLC?
something's not right with the way it's set up, and they said the only way that they're ever gonna be able to credit you for what you paid in on that is if they receive a letter stating that this was paid and this what is the problem, and then they can clear it up.
But how many more people, because I like it, like I said, when I signed up, I could never get anybody with Avenue.
I believe.
So to keep from being late, I just went straight to Matt. Well, the state, you know, when I got my LLC, they set me up.
Mhm.
They set you up and you have the option. So I just started paying to Matt.
Have you been
And
having
you
any
get a
problems?
discount. You get a discount with them, so why not?
Have you been having any problems with it since
No,
it was swapped
I
over?
go straight.
It was just an avenue issue.
But Avenue is still saying
That you
you're
owe.
not paying taxes.
Does the city use Avenue too?
Hmm?
Does the city of Heflin use Avenue?
They did, they were gonna change, but
Okay.
they used Avenue, so they were using. But with Matt, like if I pay mine on the 20th, I get a discount. It's due on the 20th, but I get a discount. I didn't do that when I had State Line with Avenue.
Mhm.
So why wouldn't you pay with Matt? Why wouldn't
Well, and
You send a check for a debit your account.
debit my account?
I want to tell you, it has not been a seamless changeover. It's been, it's been a little bit of a challenge, which, I mean, you expect that when you get that many people to comply with a
Has
change.
it got anything to do with that being in that industrial park? I'm just saying, at one time, is the money coming to the county, or where's it going?
I don't really think it's anything to do with the industrial park. I simply think that it's somehow, and I'm not saying you did it, it's very possible, because you probably didn't, you had no idea about the user type. I think it was set up wrong to begin with. You're the only one that I've ever heard with that particular situation, where they're just actually not crediting you for having that tax.
But
Well,
you know,
what I'm saying,
I
that's
don't
not-
have to credit Avenue, period. You know,
Now you
I'm
should
paying taxes to the state of Alabama.
We
That's
can
all
still
it was.
reach out
Has to
to
go
Avenue.
anyway.
We can still reach out to Avenue and say, look, don't send this person a letter anymore, their taxes have been paid directly to
But
the
see,
state.
what, I don't understand why they can't coordinate with each other.
And they do coordinate with each
I mean-
other, but I don't know, I really don't understand why, but they're saying it's because it's the user tax and that you can't pay it online. The way it's set up, you would literally have to mail them a check.
But you got Ryan's question too, about what he needs, the forms or whatever.
Yes, and I will try to.
Because there's been
I will get
outside,
a
there's
letter
some,
for
I've
that.
had several businesses contact me, they're still paying to Avenue.
I haven't had any more, like, I have one.
Buster Miles
recently.
was to start with.
Right, Buster had a problem right from the beginning. There was a few right around that
Mhm.
same time, right about that same week or so, that once I reached out to, Alabama Department of Revenue, they got it worked out, so.
The long thing I was just trying to say, at the industrial park, like you don't have a problem with the one that you worked at before State Line, or the one across the street, but inside that industrial park, there's a tax agreement
Right.
in the tax part of it. So I'm just saying, when you're saying she's the only one that you're getting some feedback on, that they're saying you can't do it, it might be because of that agreement with the tax abatement on that thing.
Well, you see everything coming through, the new RV dealership? Are you seeing funds coming from them?
I saw some on there, I don't remember what the number was.
Then goes to
on
the
there.
special district, in other words.
They're under the district.
Yeah.
And it was something like that, it was like District F user tax, something like that.
I bet that's what it is. I bet you're right, and it's that special district.
And I hear what you're saying, I just hadn't heard it from anybody
But I mean,
else
you would-
what's going
Well,
on.
you
I mean,
won't
they're
because
selling.
they'll send it to them.
Their sales have been good, so there'll be a large amount of money from those RVs.
And
So
so
you
we still
will be
have
seeing
to,
some large sales tax.
we'll have to send out a check. In fact, we'll have one probably in the next AP that will be sent out. I think it's the second month after, I have to look at the dates, but it's the second month. The first AP after the end of a quarter like that, it waits a month. If I'm not mistaken, it would be in May, we actually have to pay again. But we'll send out a check to David Hewitt and a check to the school board for their portion. One thing that Alabama Department of Revenue does not do is they do not take the school board's tax and send it directly to them. We actually have to write them a check. And that's just, I mean, it's one check out of, 170 a month or something. So it's not exactly a hardship. I wish they would directly send it
Yeah.
and just send the information.
Me too.
It does make, life a little bit easier. They say that they have constraints that Avenue doesn't have on that kind of thing. So I've kind of tried to argue with them about it,
All right,
but to go back and try to find our original agreement is a bit of a trick.
May 2nd. What did y'all wanna do? Did you wanna try to reschedule that meeting with Price and Chad?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean,
Now, when you go meet with the ACCA, they're gonna talk about danger bills and what they want you to do, and give you a pep talk and say, hey, we'd like for y'all to see this person, right? That's what normally happens, right? So,
But they,
is there anything big going on that they're against right now? Any danger bills that they're worried about right now?
contract deal with it.
The liability bill, I mean, I done talked to Randy Price, till I'm blue in the face, and he's like, who's gonna save y'all money? Hell no, we ain't gonna save us money. Of course, me and him had that conversation,
I called him on that.
and we're probably gonna have it again, because that's just stupid.
That's the Senate.
But now-
Senate, going through the Senate.
Yeah.
Start with-
Chad is working hard against it, you know, he's working hard against it. And he knows it's gonna hurt us. I mean, we had an incident, like I told Chad, we had an incident.
What's that?
I said, I'm fixing that together.
that
All right.
was a little hard.
Yeah, one thing,
Oh, there's my county, I didn't see that. There's the May 2nd thing, I did have it with me, it's still 11:30, you posted that to me. See if there's anything we need to do about that. That's the ordinance that said that, I mean, not ordinance, that resolution, if you want to do anything about the sheriff's department used vehicles. You know, we had the special call meeting.
We didn't do nothing, we had to.
Okay, all right.
Did we ever decide anything on JSU, or did you take care of that?
I have not done anything with JSU. The last time we talked about it, we were talking about Brian and I maybe going to talk to them about that. I have not done anything about it yet.
We don't need to mess around and let,
Yeah.
Time expire.
Time expire on that.
I mean, I sent everybody a text, but I want to ask y'all to reach out about that liability bill, because Randy Price is going to vote for it.
Well, he's gonna do what he wants regardless of what we.
We need to remember that next time he comes
Well,
up.
yeah, I have, I've already been down there.
all right, you entertain a motion to adjourn,
I
or
make that
y'all,
motion to adjourn.
That's it.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Bye.
All right, tell me the liability bill, tell me the,
Let's see, boss.
The liability is for the contractors, the contractors, when they complete a job, the liability falls on us, and not them if something screws up.
See, until we sign, but how it's been going is, when we sign off on it, when Lee signs off on it, it becomes ours too. And so I don't like that, because up on 49, where we put that new bridge in on, once we signed off of it, and when cold weather came, the asphalt completely come up. That was what, $60,000 back on us.
well, you know, big money.
There has to become a point though where you take responsibility for your road, and that's what the contractors are doing. They're trying to push it faster, where we need it slower. But I mean, at some point in the process, once we have approved it, it's our liability.
Now, what I don't, what I don't like is when you have, it's kind of like, you should have some type of liability for different steps. If you have asphalt put down, and once the winter month, and it comes up within that 6 month period, it still should fall back on the contractor. See, that's something that has to be addressed, because
You're wanting to build in warranty periods for different
Yeah.
things, and they're never gonna.
I know, but
They're never gonna let
it
that
kills us.
Well, they're short, that's what they want.
Right, and that's what needs to be stopped.
Is that something
That's,
that-
but it leave like it is, and like I said,
Can't take on any more.
Randy, I talked to Randy for 30 minutes, and he kept saying, it's gonna save you money, it's gonna save you money. I